So hi and welcome, my name is Bearded Bob and today we're going to be taking a look at a Dream Machine mouse here. We're going to look at the Pro version, which was their first version mouse. I've got the rest of the mice here because I want to start at the bottom. And I want to go through over the next few videos and show you the differences that they've made to the Dream Mouse series here for the DM1 series. Now if you want to know a lot about the mouse here, this is the place to be. I've gone through every little bit of detail. Let me know in the comments if I've missed anything. I've gone through the force of the mouse press, the sensitivity. I've gone through sensor tests, aim tests. I've done loads of different bits here to test this mouse to give you a good understanding of how good it is and what improvements to see in the later versions, whether you want to get something like the Pro FPS version here. What I wanted to do is understand the journey that the company's gone through. This is not a very known company. It's not something like Razer, Logitech, Corsair here. This is a company from Poland. And I've been chatting to some people on the mouse review forum on Reddit, which is a great community, by the way, worth checking out. Really friendly people if you want to know a lot of information about mice. And they were mentioning these Dream Machine mice, and I thought, well, I'll take a look because I'm always looking for new ones to look at. If you're not familiar with my channel, I do a Tech Tuesday series where I look at premium products, a bit like this, and I also do a Thrift Thursday where I look at more budget range products. I've got coming up on the next Thrift Thursday a budget bungee for mice, so worth checking out. Hope you've had a good Christmas. Happy New Year to you all. This is the 3rd of January here, so certainly moving on a bit. I've taken a little bit of a break if you haven't noticed, because, well, Christmas and family and stuff, but I hope a lot of us had a good time as well. So starting today, let's take a look at the DM1 Pro. So the mouse when I bought this, which was actually back in maybe November, maybe a little bit earlier, was £40 on Amazon, which is a good price here. This is a premium mouse, although not from a major brand. The shape is a traditional FPS mouse. It's a little bit like the Zowie series here, maybe the FK series, with this body with a hump 3/4 of the way back, 2 side buttons. It's got 3 C-shaped pads on the base made out of rubber for a bit of gliding. It does have a form of LED on the back here, the DM3 logo, which allows you to understand what the DPI is set to, and it breathes in and out and changes colour. It's a 6-button mouse with a scroll wheel pressed down as well, and it's predominantly for the right-handed player. Although the shape's quite even, so you could be left-handed, as long as you don't mind the buttons on the left-hand side of the mouse for the thumb of a right-handed player. So the build quality on this, well, I got to say we didn't get off to the best start here. I was expecting a little bit better. What I found was that this mouse does rock slightly left to right. And what I originally thought was, on a hard surface, that it was the plastic protective coating on the feet, so I peeled that off. And although it reduced the rock, there was still some rock there, so that was a little bit disappointing. Although this could be easily fixed with a little bit of sandpaper, but it's not something I want to do out of the box on a £40 mouse. The mouse itself is coated in a matte black finish, which I expect would probably wear off over time. And one of the other concerns I have over here was the ability for it to attract fingerprints, which was probably the worst mouse I've seen yet for attracting fingerprints. Other than those few little gripes at the start there, the mouse is constructed well. There's certainly no flex in it whatsoever. I'm pressing the sides firmly. And overall, the mouse is built to a decent standard, bar those little issues that I have with this version. So let's get into the dimensions of this mouse. It comes in at a nice length of 124.4mm long. The width at the front is 63.6mm. The width on the top middle, because I've done 2 measurements here, I've measured the top middle and the bottom middle because it kind of tapers in at the bottom here. And the top middle comes in at 63.4mm. And the bottom middle comes in at 58.4mm. And the rear middle comes in at 67.9mm. So it's slightly flared at the rear. The height at the front comes in at 22.3mm. The height of the middle comes in at 38.6mm, and the height of the rear comes in at 35.8mm. The cable thickness comes in at 2.8mm. The front button's width, a little bit hard to measure, is 24.8mm both sides, and the scroll wheel thickness here, which is a nice size, is 7.9mm. So as I've said, this is a 6-button mouse with an additional press down for the scroll wheel. The left and right mouse buttons are the Omron 20 million click switches here, and they do feel really nice. I really do like these switches. They probably give one of the best clicks I've felt for a while here, these on-1 switches with a really nice crisp click. You certainly know when you're pressing the mouse. What I did find was a little bit of pre-travel on the left mouse button here, and it did feel a little bit less on the right mouse button. But there's definitely some pre-travel there. Not so much post-travel though, which is good. On the side buttons, I don't know what the switches are, but they do feel pretty good. There's a nice little notch taken out the middle of them, so it's easy to distinguish whether you're on the front or the rear thumb button there, which is good to see. Some of them can be quite hard to tell. I didn't find these difficult to press, although they may be a little bit spongy to be fair. So getting on to the force required to press each button. This is one of the things that I've been enjoying doing here. A little bit geeky maybe, but I do like understanding the force, especially in 3 different areas on the button. So if your hand's a little bit smaller, a little bit longer, it's good to see how much pressure you need to apply to trigger the mouse click. If you're doing something like rapid fire, you're going to need to know that. So my hand size is 18 centimeters by 9 centimeters, giving you an idea of the hand grip. And this mouse did feel great in my hand, and I use a claw hybrid palm grip. And to me, this mouse is probably about the right size for me. So let's start with the left mouse button at the front here. And the 3 clicks came in at 84, 68, and 71 grams, which gives it an average of 74 grams actuation force required. The middle came in at 107, 83, and 85, giving it an average of 92 grams to press around the middle. And the rear came in at 248, 284, it's getting heavy, and 244. Which gives it an average of 260 grams, which is quite a lot of force at the back. So if you've got quite a short grip here or very high claw grip where your finger's quite far back, there's going to be quite a lot of pressure required on this mouse, predominantly because the buttons are part of the shell perhaps. So the front right press here was 62, 77, and 76 grams, giving it an average of 72 grams. So similar to the left really. The middle came in at 97 grams, 114 and 86, which gives it an average of 99 grams. And the rear came in at 170, 178 and 249, giving an average of 199. So there's a little bit of difference in the right and left mouse buttons. This could be down to the way I press the button. 60 grams though is quite a lot difference to be fair. So the front side button here, I just took 3 measurements for these. First press was 163 grams. Second press was 157 grams, and the third press was 179 grams, and that gives us an average of 166 grams force on the side buttons. The side back one was 186 grams first press, 166, and 205, giving it an average of about 186 grams force. So not bad on the side. I didn't seem to feel any different reality here to other buttons, perhaps a little bit tougher than the G Pro wireless I've been using. Go down to the scroll press. These are the ones that I think are a little bit more key here, especially when you're going through your weapons, maybe looking for a quick switch or some of your building requirements on Fortnite, for instance. You don't want to be pressing down accidentally. And this one to me feels a little bit light, but it comes in at 216 grams, 197 grams, and 167 grams, giving it an average of 193 grams to press the mouse button down. I would have liked to have seen it a little bit tougher, but again, it's a little bit of a fine art here to try and get the right press on the scroll button. I don't think I've found the mouse that actually has that, so hey ho. If you're interested in comparing mice here, I've got a website, biddybob.com, and on there I've got a comparison table with all the mice that I've reviewed recently. I need to put in the older stuff that I've done because I've done quite a few mice reviews. And it gives you all the detail to be able to compare mice very quickly around button press actuation, force, sensors, you know, weights, sizes, to give you a very good quick look to make sure you help you pick your mouse that you want, or at least which ones you want to look at. If some of you are aware or not, I have split my channel. I did have gameplay on this channel, and I have moved my gameplay or the latest videos onto one called Beardy Bob's Gameplay channel, and that's purely because I think YouTube's punishing the channel, unfortunately, hence maybe some low subs here, because I'm showing gameplay and it's not really what people want to watch because they want to come here for technical stuff like mice, keyboards, and other stuff, and therefore potentially YouTube's deranking me maybe. I don't know. So if you want to see that, I'll put a link in the description. It's Beardy Bob's Gameplay channel, and it's well worth checking out if you want to see me playing things like Insurgency, Oxygen Not Included, 7 Days to Die, Black Ops, Ring of Elysium, you name it, I play them all pretty much. So let's get onto the weight here. So I've dragged out the scales, and on their website they say it weighs 89 grams. To me it does feel a little bit light in your hand, and I was right, it came in unusually lower than what they predicted at 83 grams, which was impressive. If you're interested in knowing what the weight is with the cable as well, it comes in at 117 grams, so the total weight is quite light here from this mouse. One of the most disappointing things about this mouse is the cable. It has, by hands down, the worst cable I've ever tried in my life on a mouse. 100% needs a bungee, and I'm not even sure that's going to help you because the cable is so rigid that it'll probably push out the back of the bungee. And it is definitely the one thing that needs to change on this mouse. The cable is horrific. Comes in at a nice 1.8 meters, it's braided. So if you've got an issue with cables, this isn't the one to have, or get a power cord mod on it, or maybe look at something like the FPS series, which I know has a lighter cable, and we'll go into that a little bit detail when I check out that mouse. So this is the PMW3310 sensor here. This has been around for a while, this optical sensor. It comes in with a fixed 1000 Hz pull rate. I can't lower the pull rate, maybe there's some software that allows me to do that. Certainly worth checking out. If you know how to lower that, let me know in the comments for the people. So I tested this on BenQ's website, which they've got a tester here for your polling, worth doing. I'll put a link in the description, as I will do for anything else in this video. And that confirms that this is set at 1000 Hz. It's got 5 interchangeable DPIs, this mouse. It comes for 400, 800, 1600, 3200 and 5000, and they're all interchangeable by the button just behind the scroll wheel here, which can alter the DPIs. And as I've said, the LEDs change colour on the scroll wheel and the D3 logo to confirm which DPI you're set to. As I've done with a lot of my recent mice here, I've gone through the sensor test, drawing in paint here to understand what the laser is actually doing, and this 3310 performs as expected. The only one thing that I found was that I noticed the feet on a cloth mat were causing a lot of drag. It'd be well worth changing these skates out for something else, like some hyperglides or core pads if they do them. Because I did find on a cloth mat, if using one of those, they were holding it back. And I found like I was kind of fighting with it to try and get the right control. Although with some nice pads on this, I expect this to be a lot better. But overall on the test here, I didn't see any issues really. This sensor performed really well, even in the slam tests. It wasn't flipping out or spinning out or anything like that. It did perform perfectly as expected. So I've done something a little bit different as well this week. I've added in a 3D aim trainer. What I've done here is I've set it to Counter-Strike. I've left all the default sensitivity settings, and I've picked the Desert Eagle, and I've run through on 400 DPI a test. I'll post the results here if you want to see the full video. I'll put it in the description, the link to it. I've just gone through and got a score so I can judge this against other mice. This is very susceptible to my ability to hit things, the sensitivity, which I didn't change, which I probably should have, and really just how you play. I took 3 pre-warm-ups to make sure I kind of got a feel for the mouse, because I think it's a bit unfair to do it straight off the bat. So have a go on here as well. It's well worth it for warming up. Put a comment below what you got, what sensitivities you use, as people will probably find that pretty cool to see what the people are doing as well. So the scroll wheel itself, I find it a little bit light for flicking through. It comes in 24 notches for a full cycle. And what I found was when I'm cycling through them, there's no real resistance to stop me. There's a little bit when I'm flicking through and pushing the scroll wheel, which is good for surfing, but it wouldn't be something that I would like when I'm using weapons, for instance. Switch between primary and secondary if you do that. I don't personally, but I know some people do, and you'll find that you're overshooting with this scroll wheel. The scroll wheel itself's got a rubber coating on it and like forward arrows to show you which way to press, and they feel okay, but overall it's not bad. So software wise, as I've said, there's no software for this DM Pro, not that I'm aware of, and I use something called Xmouse. And this allows me to reconfigure the buttons, but it doesn't allow me to change the polling rate or sensitivity for DPI, for instance. But if you need to configure the buttons, which I do, I mean, I don't understand why they don't send software out here to configure the side buttons. This isn't the only mouse that does that. There is a lot of them. And it would have been nice to have seen companies start to provide software to do this, especially on their budget mice, or like you say, you can use a third party, which I've been using called Xmouse, which actually does it for you anyway. So overall, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments, like I say, if I've missed anything here technical that you want to see or hear about or want me to measure. I mean, I think I've done pretty much everything that I possibly could think of here. And hopefully that covers absolutely every question somebody has, other than you've got to try it yourself. One of the best things about this, I guess as a kind of a conclusion, is the shape of it. It's a really nice shape. It's certainly got potential, this mouse. And hopefully in these next mice that we go through here with these different versions, they've addressed some of the problems I've had here on this DM1, because it's certainly got the potential to be one of the top mice. So as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Bye bye.